Penn. I'm Cameron Lishansky.
And I'm Taylor Whiteside. We're here to tell you about Field Day, June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
We're looking forward to the orange and black competition.
Get ready, William Penn.
Let's go over last week in Philly sports. We're going to start with the 76ers. Ben Simmons returned after an injury to help the Sixers snap a four-game losing streak in 121-90 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. A couple nights later, the Sixers blew out the Atlanta Hawks 127-83 to clinch a playoff spot. So Sixers are going to the playoffs for another year. This time, let's hope they don't get out in the second round. The 76ers dominated on every side of the floor 2 nights later in a 126 to 104 win over the Atlanta Hawks. 76ers played sloppy but pulled out a 113 to 111 win over the San Antonio Spurs with a Ben Simmons buzzer beater tip in overtime. That happened Sunday night. I mean, that was an awful game. Spurs didn't have all their good players. Sixers were fully loaded, and we just couldn't produce. I mean, that's gonna happen sometimes, but that was not great. Let's move on to the Phillies. Oh boy, did the Phillies have quite the week. I got some stuff to say about this. The Phillies and the Cardinals tied a four-game series from Monday to Thursday. The Phillies won Game 1 on a Zach Wheeler gem and 2 homers from Rhys Hoskins. Game 2 had some slow offense, to say the least. Game 3, Bryce Harper got hit in the nose by a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Then Didi Gregorius was hit in the ribs on the very next pitch. Both came out of the game. Didi Gregorius is fine. Bryce Harper's still hurt. Something happened with his wrist. The ball first deflected off of his wrist, then to his nose. So his nose is fine. His wrist is just hurting. So gotta hope he's okay. He actually injured himself on Sunday night again in his first game back. We'll talk about that later. Both Phillies. I read that wrong. Hold on. Phillies came from behind to win that game. Good one from the Phillies. Game 4 went into extra innings. David Hale, who should be DFA'd off the Phillies, threw a pitch that got past JT Realmuto, and the Cardinals won in 10 innings to tie the series. The Phillies lost the 3-game series that weekend to the New York Mets in the top of the 8th inning. In Game 1, the benches cleared when Phillies reliever Jose Alvarado struck out Dominic Smith with 2 men on base. Alvarado climbed back from a 3-0 count to strike out Smith. As he walked off the field, Alvarado shouted at Smith. The pitcher then Alvarado then tossed aside his glove and challenged Smith. The benches emptied and peace was restored, but things got hot again when Rhys Hoskins and Mets reliever Miguel Castro exchanged words after a couple of inside pitches and a walk in the bottom of the 8th inning. Alvarado and Smith had previously had words at Citi Field earlier in the month. After Alvarado hit Michael Conforto with a pitch, the Phillies were able to win that game 2-1. The Phillies lost Game 2 as Andrew McCutchen was called out for going out of the baseline when he ran probably the straightest line I've ever seen anyone run. That was a ridiculous call. He didn't even touch the grass. And it was just one of the worst calls ever. And that was maybe a deciding factor for the Phillies losing this game, because he was running the second. He would have been in scoring position. Called him out, and the Phillies lost that game. Absolutely unbelievable. Terrible call. These umpires this year have not been good. Then, Game 3 was blown in the 8th inning by some pretty terrible pitching by David Hale and Jose Alvarado. Then Rhys Hoskins hit a ball that hit off the top of the wall in the bottom of the 9th inning that would have tied the game. The ball was called a home run in the beginning, and then they reviewed it, and the call got reversed. Just a double. 2 runs scored, 8-7, and Bryce Harper came up and he was unable to do anything with it. Jose Alvarado on Sunday was he got suspended for his actions with Smith for 3 games. He appealed, so now they worked a 2-game suspension that will start Monday night. The Flyers were eliminated from playoff contention, and honestly, it's not even worth going over their week. The Flyers are terrible. If you are a Flyers fan, I'm a diehard Flyers fan. I just am so sorry. I mean, we came into the season so hot, and we self-destructed. I don't know what happened in March. Everything just went totally downhill. I don't know what happened. I have no clue. But it was really bad, and they're they're out of the race for the playoffs. So if you're I would stop watching their games personally. I'm still gonna watch them because I have to write some stuff about them or whatever. But I wouldn't watch their games. That's it for this week in Philly sports. Let's hope next week is better.